It is Saturday night, August 19th, and welcome to episode 39 of the Wise Guys Sports Show. I am one of your hosts, Jim Crenity. I'm going to bring in my partner, Mike Martinez.
It's been a rough Saturday, James. As I told you, we got the little guy under the weather, so it's been a little rough. But he is now comfortably sleeping with Mama, and we're gonna do better from there. So before we get into everything, Jim, I just want to again say thank you for last week. We celebrated 5 years of the Big Rican on Sports podcast with a Big Rican baseball show for the first hour, and then we went an hour and a half, the two of us on our own afterwards, with a Wise Guys show. So tonight. Dude, we're a week away from our NFL NCAA preview.
Yeah, it's I normally flash this at the end, but yeah, it's the Football-a-Palooza next week.
It's also episode 40.
Exactly. So it's we're inching also very close to 50, and the airfare is going to be booked when I'm on vacation this week.
I was going to say, is 50 going to be the trip?
We'll talk off air, but it might be.
Oh, boy.
We might actually have to do that tomorrow because you've had yourself a hell of a night. And I don't want to have to take a commercial break this early because I think Mike accidentally closed his window. He completely blacked out from here. But we're actually hopeful to have a guest tonight. I apologize for the second week in a row not promoting this through the Facebook, Twitter, and Threads pages. But we are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We may be discontinuing Twitch here in the coming months, but it's all a work in progress. I am on vacation, as you heard a moment ago. I'll be finalizing travel details for episode 50, which will be the War for the Ore, the Florida Georgia tailgate game at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. But also, I think when I'm off, we're going to officially have the Wise Guys Threads, Facebook, and Twitter pages set up. We're at least 2 out of the 3, and we'll actually see kind of how that goes. And you actually see my name is a little different tonight, but there will be a reason for that. And we're going to step out for a moment as I'm still trying to fill, but we haven't really started anything. So we're going to step out here for just a second while Mike actually gets everything going. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in still a little bit of a technical delay. Our guest is actually having a technical issue with his camera. Mike completely dropped out, so we're waiting on him to be restored, but we will be back with you as quickly as we can. Sit tight. Thank you. Okay. Mike, are you there, my friend?
I am here now, and this is really starting to drive me nuts.
Okay. Um, our guest is here, but he's still having a little bit of a technical issue. So if you actually see us a little distant, we're trying to actually work him through it so he can actually jump in with us.
You know the funny thing, we did the Windows 11 upgrade at the office this week, and I had someone down for a day and a half. This is just starting to taunt me and starting to piss me off. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. So,
I
okay,
kept talking. I kept
he's
talking
actually,
before, like we were going.
yeah, it's a you completely dropped right out of the stream. It's I actually had to fill for a couple of minutes and then put us into uh technical difficulty mode for about the last 5-10 minutes.
Here I thought it was you that dropped out, and I kept talking. Now I know what my mom feels like when the call drops and she keeps going when I'm not there.
To quote a very, very wise individual, victory is mine.
You know what the funny thing is on that line? Did you watch How I Met Your Mother at all?
Only a few episodes. I saw the finale, but it's like hit or miss.
So there's an episode where the episode after Robin and Ted break up at the end of one of the seasons, she comes back with a new boyfriend, and it's Enrique Iglesias. And he goes, "Tell me one way I'm better than that guy." And she goes, "You're bigger." There's no way. He's an inch taller than me. She goes, "Ted, you're bigger." And then you cut the next scene. It's him and the other two guys, and he's got beer in his hand at the bar. And he goes, "I win."
I love the gif of just him going.
You seriously, their 100th episode, I think it was a musical episode with Stacy Keibler. She plays a woman who won't date Barney because he wears suits. And then he does a song called "Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit." And of course, it's Neil Patrick Harris, so you know it's good.
Right.
And he goes in.
I was flipping around on one of the free channels on like Samsung TV Plus or like the like Roku, how they have all their free things, and it was some B-rated, like not even like Hallmark family movie or like ABC family movie, and it was like from 10 years ago, and it had Brooke Burns and Stacy Keibler.
Interesting.
And her hair was like dirty blonde, and she played like a model, but she was like, Brooke Burns was playing a TV exec who had the task of like turning the frat boy newscaster into like, corporate guy so it was you could see it coming a mile away. It wasn't very good, but I mean, there were, something like that. It's like you're not really watching it for the plot, but it's like
you're watching it because Stacy Keibler and Brooke Burns are in it.
Exactly. And the scenes that they're together were actually the better parts of the movie, not just for appearance purposes, just because of the acting and the dialogue. I mean, everything else was take it or leave it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, during our hiatus there of technical difficulties, someone made his contractually obligated appearance.
Yeah, but it's like Bigfoot. No visual evidence or it doesn't count.
Oh, here we are making Bigfoot references after we've been told aliens exist. What are we doing next, Jim? What's next?
Well, if we're gonna bring up Bigfoot, I am contractually obligated to make the Mitch Hedberg joke. I don't think Bigfoot is that hard to find. I just think he's a large, out of focus monster.
Only you would go Hedberg on something like that, James.
I can't help the fact that rice is great when you're hungry and you want 2,000 of something. Why do you think Chipotle's so damn good?
What's wrong with you?
There's not enough time to answer that.
That's one of my favorite clips we've ever done is when John says, there's a thing down here that says, "need help."
The kind of help you need, we can't provide.
No, well, they can. They can do it online. It's just not restream. So
I think he's streaming tonight. I think he's doing Star Wars Fortnite. I know what you're thinking.
I would be better off if I stayed up till 1 o'clock to give him his medicine. So I'm down if you are.
Yeah, but not right now.
No, not right now. Once Patrick gets going, we're gonna go content heavy. But
I have 3 weeks until I'm sorry. I have exactly 1 month from today. Mortal Kombat 1 is out.
I saw a gameplay thing online. The game looks just insane.
Uh huh. It's. I mean, I don't know how much you even played any of the last few since they kind of rebooted everything on the next gen systems, like with 9. What was that? Almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I played. I think we have 10 or 11. And of course, and we had the disc, so it's not loaded on the new one. I have to load that up. I'd almost rather find a way to download it and have it. I won't buy discs anymore if I can help it. If I can't help it, then,
I don't mind. I don't mind actually. Now that I've got a Switch, I don't mind actually buying the chips as opposed to downloading because I figure I can get rid of the Switch has the option to where I can actually keep the game data but uninstall the game to save space, even if I'm doing an SD card expansion because the Switch itself only has, I want to say, like 60 gigs worth of memory, at least the one that I have. But I've got like a 256 gig chip, so I've got like Fire Emblem and Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 11 and Crisis Core, Final Fantasy, all loaded onto move to the SD card, so I don't have to take up space on the Switch itself.
Yeah, the new one has a terabyte in it, and then we have a 5 terabyte exterior drive. Because when, on the other one, it was games I played, games Steph played, games Zach played. So there's that.
And before too long, Bobby's going to be playing.
Bobby has his own controller already because Zachary left his old one here that is broken. It's really broken now. I killed a palmetto bug with it a few weeks ago. I'm sitting here playing and something crawled across my foot. It scared the hell out of me. And then I looked at, you know how big those things are?
Yeah.
Like that. So Bobby's sleeping on the couch next to me. He takes his naps there. I get up and I grab the extra remote and I beat the ever-living snot out of this bug. I did to that bug what we wanted Dos Santos to do or Diaz to do to Jake Paul.
Not necessarily because I hate them both.
I feel that Diaz is a lesser of two evils.
They're both pricks.
Speaking of pricks, dude, the MJF and Adam Cole thing was hilarious.
Dude, I love Epic. Stop fraternizing with the enemy.
I was done. I was absolutely done.
They are the greatest thing ever. The kangaroo kick. Oh, God, I love the brochachos so much. I'm
brochachos.
I'm going to be so upset when they break this thing up next week on the pay-per-view.
I have, speaking of things that we've sent each other through social media, the one that you phoned me about last night, we won't say what it was because it is dark. We won't do that. But we should do on like a scale thing like that.
Yeah, we can work on something like that. That
would be.
Send me a message off air, and
I'll do that.
I'll work on something when I'm on vacation next week.
Yeah, I mean, like on a scale of, what was it? On a scale of
one that
Stetson Bennett to Chad Pennington, how much work did you do in college?
I got a better one.
Okay.
Not Chad Pennington and Stetson Bennett. Van Wilder versus Chris Farley from Black Sheep. A lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Is that Black Sheep or is that Tommy Boy?
Might have been. It was one of the two.
I think it was Tommy Boy. Because that's when he comes back from school and he's taking over the business because the dad dies.
You're right.
I'd say on a scale from Burt Kreischer to Van Wilder, but they're the same person.
And one didn't get involved with the Russian mafia.
Well, they left that part out, but that was the story that Oliver Stone optioned. Is Burt Kreischer's life, and they turned it into Van Wilder, and he has never seen it. He said the only way he will watch it is if Ryan Reynolds watches it with him. Should we start the Threads and X campaign to get that to happen?
Speaking of X, and I think it's the first time I've actually called it by that. Did you see all the flack that's coming because of what that moron announced a couple of days ago?
Oh, about the DM thing?
That he was going to remove the block feature.
Yeah, he's a schmuck.
Well, here's the thing. Somebody debunked it and said legally he can. A social media platform must have a block option to be added to the Apple and Google stores, which actually means if he deletes that, it basically shuts the entire app down.
Yeah, he just pissed away how many billions of dollars.
Yep. So, but the Threads web version is in the next couple of weeks. So, and once that happens, I think you're going to see their base come back a lot more after how much they dropped off because it was only on mobile devices and tablets at that point. So, that's actually one of the big things about people using Facebook, Instagram, and X is the web is the browser interface with it for business and uploading and posting and things of that nature. You can't really do that off a mobile device.
No, you can't because you can't even share. I was trying to share a GIF the other day to something of yours, and it didn't let me do it. Wow.
At least the Pirates are beating the Twins, so they won't. Who just kicked the field goal at Busch Stadium?
Let's see. So far, we have a 3-run infield single. Let's see. Lindor stole home. That's how they scored the first run. McNeil doubled in Lindor for the second. DJ Stewart, who all of a sudden hits home runs. That's the third one. And then our good friend Danny Burgers hit a grand slam. Burgers. But the big one, Alonso took a low and away fastball and hit it to the back of the bleachers in left center.
You know what? When I was going to pick up a smoothie earlier today, I can't even name the place because they're only like Ohio based.
Who is it?
Pulp.
I've heard of it. Well,
okay, really, really good. I ended up getting honey mustard wrap and then a side salad from there. It's like everything came to like $19, like 23 with tip. And it was like I wanted to save it for the next day, but it's like it was so goddamn good. It's like it's going to be 93 here tomorrow. It's like I could burn it all off then.
We're in day 9 of the heat advisory, but I live in the armpit of hell.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our first day over 90 in over a month, and actually, the funny thing is that a lot of people like around here are saying, next weekend is Labor Day, and then, summer's only got a month left, and it's like, but it still doesn't feel like summer up here because it's like most of our days are in the low to mid 80s or the high 70s. We were only at 71 degrees yesterday with rain. It's like, that's spring. That's not summer.
No, you're right. It's definitely spring as opposed to summer there.
Because you and I both know if it's cooler this early in the year, it'd be nice to actually get some days over 90, because then that actually just means the rain and the snow is going to come that much earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely going to hit you guys early. I was thinking about that when I talked to my parents with the weather up there, and I'm like, let him be able to get on this damn plane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, while we're still waiting on our guest to kind of fix everything here, I think I'm actually going to end up flying into Savannah instead.
Perfect.
Because, I mean, that's only 45 minutes from you or something?
Yeah, but I'm basically equidistant from there to Jacksonville. I'm in the middle between Savannah and Jacksonville, so either one is fine.
So it would be like, you and I, where we lived before, basically driving to the west side, like Berea or Strongsville.
Yeah, more Strongsville than Berea.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's straight up 95.
And I think I just for the extra $100 or whatever it's going to be, I'll just fly back on that Sunday. It's
dude, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah, I'd rather actually just do it now and get it over with.
I gotcha.
So
yeah, and because we're gonna need Sunday to recuperate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, it's like an hour and a half for you round trip getting me to the airport and coming back home.
Oh,
but
dude,
that's
not the issue I'm talking about. I'm talking about just you and I. That Saturday's gonna be a long day, dude.
Right, because you figure we're not going to be there all day long. I mean, we'll probably be home before sundown.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, and at least we'll be able to kind of decompress. And I don't think my flight would leave until like mid to early afternoon that Sunday. So, I mean, we'll have the whole afternoon. We'll have the whole morning and most of the afternoon to kind of decompress, go out for food or whatever,
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm still really excited about it. The heck was I going to tell you? Yeah, I'm counting it down, man. That, it's with everything coming up. I mean, we got the 40th episode next week on Friday the 25th. I'm still working on guests for that. The four horsemen of the Wisey apocalypse. I don't know if all four horsemen are going to be there. But I'm working on, that's why I wanted to go on Twitch tonight. So we can shame him online and make him do it.
Maybe, maybe in the second half of the show.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So, yeah, we got that coming up, the 40th episode next week. And then we're in a college football season the weekend after, James.
Teams are already in their second preseason game in the NFL, and yeah, we're already...
Let's talk about that for a moment, if we could. Jim, they couldn't move the ball against a good defense, Jim.
Against a bunch of second stringers.
That kid from UCLA looks good.
I was just going to say, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, from what I've seen, is making a very, very strong case to elevate himself to the number 2 ahead of Josh Dobbs.
I'd almost just do it. Because I knew we were coming on with Patrick tonight, and I knew we were going to talk. We're going to talk about it. As much as we boycotted them last year, it is a story this year because it really could be the end of a franchise.
Right, and when and once he gets everything fixed, he wrote a very good piece that I actually read. I didn't get a chance to read all of it, but I read a very, very good chunk of the first part of it about Watson. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's cooling off a little bit here, which means the pollen is like really bad because we're actually also supposed to get like wildfire smoke tonight, but not enough to really affect the air quality, but just enough to screw with people's allergies.
You guys have had a tough time up north this year.
Yeah.
I mean, between your wildfire stuff and the chemical fire we've had down here, you know.
And also the fact that one of your congressmen is Swamp Thing.
Yes. Hate her.
Speaking of which, off topic a little bit here because we haven't talked about a single goddamn thing on topic yet.
Yeah, I would say, what is topic?
How was indictment day for you down there?
Indictment day was okay. I think you got to remember there's a lot of parts of Georgia that are blue now. So, and remember, Georgia is leading the charge.
When you say there's a lot of parts that are blue, though, isn't that primarily around your big cities like your Athens, your Macons, your Atlantas?
Atlanta, yes. Athens, no. Macon, probably. Brunswick, yes. This is Raphael Warnock area.
Nice.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm moving one of the things out of here. I'm going to adjust the way I'm sitting because it's just starting to bother my back. So, yeah, it was interesting. It was fun for me, anyway.
I didn't get to bed until after 1 that night just because of how late everything broke.
What was it, like 3:30 in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Well, the grand jury was convening at 3, but they didn't formally announce everything until after 10. I want to say District Attorney Davis's press conference was right around 11-ish,
okay,
or closer to midnight.
Yeah, I was in bed.
I think I only still through maybe the first quarter of the indictment. I think that's going to be tomorrow, is just reading all 90 pages of it or 100 pages of it. Well, the first one in New York, I tore through in about 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to cut camera for a second, but I'm still online, all right?
Okay.
It's not going to be pretty if I start, like, moving stuff around and everybody can see me.
Well, we said we were trying to get banned before too long. We would have been banned had we shared the damn joke that you sent me.
I see no lie in there.
Just get us to 50 before we get thrown off, you know?
We're not going to get thrown off. Do you want to know why we're not going to get thrown off? Because no one cares. If that didn't get that dude taken out of TikTok, this ain't getting us taken out of YouTube, dude. And if you hear ticking in the background, I have a rogue categories game that likes to start every now and again. I was watching last week. Is he here? Even if we just get audio.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
now we're going to actually have a show.
We've been on for 40 minutes and we haven't done a goddamn thing. So, Patrick, you're not missing anything, my friend.
You're really not, dude.
Well, I had an escapade over here.
It's
always a hotkey. Like, you just hit a key on your keyboard and it just completely turns something off. Like, so that's all it was. It was just an F8 blocked my camera. And I had to do something before where it just, like, disabled Windows, like, for hitting an F button. Like, I don't get it. Oh, and your message I didn't get because my Twitter account isn't working right because of Mr. Muskrat. I tried to change my name. Yeah, I tried the elongated Muskrat. I tried to change my name to, like, a pen name, you know, like, because I was like, I don't want to get doxxed and everything. And I've been using my real name on Twitter, which is kind of probably not, I don't know. You know, you guys do it, I guess. So, but I kind of wanted to change it. So I changed it, and now I'm not allowed in. And did you see they're getting rid of blocking?
We talked about that. Legally, they can't, because if they do, they have to remove them as a social media app from the Apple and Google stores.
it has to be his goal to like see how much of this will take. Like, how bad can I make the app before people just say enough?
I think it's his goal to piss away more money than everybody else in the world.
I do. I really think he's weird like that. Like, he'd rather just troll than do anything good.
And you know what? With the fact that it's 2023, it's almost so much worse than Nero, because Nero was playing a fiddle watching everything burn, and he's just basically burning everything else, but he's oblivious to it.
Well, I said it to my friend. I was like, he could spend $25 million a day solving a new problem for the rest of his life and still be able to set his kids up for like 8 generations. And why? I don't get it. Why do these billionaires not want to fix anything?
Because it being broken is why they made their money.
Ah, well, there you go. Yeah, you nailed it.
I will say that originally it wasn't supposed to happen, and then when he actually saw everything that's going on with X, Zuck moved the the browser development of Threads to the forefront. It's supposed to be coming at any time now. So I think that's really where you're going to start to see X start to die, because people are going to start jumping off of there left and right.
I will as soon as I can.
Are they not fighting because he's a pansy?
Musk?
Because Zuck posted a picture of himself in incredible shape, training with 2 former MMA champions, and Musk don't want any part of that.
I would have paid good money to see Zuckerberg knock him out.
leave Lex Luthor alone.
He was terrible as Lex Luthor.
That's a weird cast.
Okay, your favorite Lex Luthor?
Gene Hackman.
He's not what I know.
Well, no, the guy from Smallville was good too.
For me, I actually have to say, just because of how snarky and slimy he was, I liked John Cryer in the from the Arrowverse.
Oh, see, I didn't see much of that.
He was.
But he'll always be the guy. He'll always be the guy from Hot Shots that had the fishbowl glasses on.
Or Alan was his name?
Alan.
Yeah. So, Patrick, how the hell are we, my friend? Outside of technical issues, of course.
Pretty good lately. I don't know. I mean, well, I'll tell you what. The web's going great. And I started a little hobby. And I don't know, man. Like, it's like I've just been following, and the traffic has been terrific. And I'm like, wow, I'm not writing for my dad and my family anymore. Like, people are actually reading this. So that's really cool. And I started a fundraiser to raise funds for it because I wanted to get it off WordPress and get it a good domain. I'm not sure, guys, but there's do you hear that static? Like, I hear really loud.
That might be my central air that's right there.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all right. It might be mine too.
Being in southern Georgia, I'm not turning it off.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if Patrick's the only one hearing it because you got a headset on.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, yeah, but I started a fundraiser, and I got some really nice contributions from family members and stuff, and I just acted right away. I got it its own domain. The person who has clevelandsportsreport.com is holding it hostage for $1,000, so that's not happening. But that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I got .net and .org at least. So
I was telling Mike I read the first. I want to say it's the first half of your Deshaun Watson piece. It was fantastic.
Thank you. It's epic. It's 2,100 words. I get carried away.
I don't ever remember writing a feature that long in my life.
That's the thing, and that's what I think that I offer. I go really in depth. I'm trying to write more simple articles because a lot of them are long reads, but that's basically what I'm trying to. I want it to be a journal, like a report, like not just a news report or a news release, just a big log of my opinions, and usually those take 1,000 words. So it's good, and I get more traffic since the address change. It's only been a couple days, but now it's memorable. Like, people know and they come back, and the best thing was I was able to strip the ads off of it, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do. And if I can keep just, little coffee contributions coming in, that's my hope, is $3-5 here or there, I can keep those off of there. And that's my favorite thing, because I hate those actually when they're not relevant. I'd like to purchase like sponsorship, from people like who I really want to represent on my site, but the ones with toenail fungus and the woman with 9 heads, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's the last thing I needed. That's the last visual I needed, because for whatever reason in my YouTube algorithm, I'm getting nothing but Dr. Pimple Popper videos lately.
Oh, you know what? That's so funny. I was just watching those last night. I love watching those. My favorite
Some of them are
sebaceous cysts.
Some of them are satisfying, but like the small ones, I don't like the big ones because of how graphic they get.
Oh,
lipoma.
I like the cyst.
I'm just going to leave you that one there. The lipoma is my favorite.
I had a cyst. That's why it's so satisfying when it finally. I got a story for you. Okay, so I have that. I have this little tiny one on my back. It's not that big, but I'm like feeling it, and I'm like, oh, like what is that? And I'm like prying at it with a dental tool and stuff. I want it off my body, like you just can't stop prying at it, and I can't do anything with it. And then one night, I don't know, after like digging at it enough, I go lay down in my girlfriend's bed, and suddenly, all of a sudden, something stinks, like to high hell, and it blew up all over her sheets.
Because I've seen the videos, I can only imagine. I think my favorite one was some guy had one on his shoulder, and his girlfriend and her sister were trying to pop it with like literally a knife. And the second they pierced the tip, it literally sprayed to the patio window about 3 feet behind them.
It's so satisfying because that stuff's been in there for years, like years.
Hold on. I want to know where you got the dental tool from. Where are we?
Dude, literally at like Dollar Tree. Have you ever seen those where they have like the little mirror? Like that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, you said dental.
It's $1.
You said dental tool, and I'm like, wait a minute. Where the hell did you get a dental tool from?
I don't know. Dollar Tree.
That's awesome.
God.
So speaking of pulling teeth, let's talk about the Browns.
All right. Let's do it.
No, Mike, you're close. That when you're talking about one guy with the Browns, it's pulling something else.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, the roofies. Anyway,
well, I thought it was more pushing things. He likes the things in his butthole. It seems like that was the main thing.
Oh, okay.
That's my question. Did anybody read any of these things? Like these people, like in response to that article, like that's when I got the idea to change my name. Because people get that hot about it, they get that offended about it.
Well, you got to remember.
And I'm like, why are you this upset? Like, how are you defending this person that much?
Because
it bothers you personally.
Because again, I said this before when you were here, and I'll say it again. The Cleveland fan base has become entitled. Now that the Browns are actually halfway decent, and I don't think they're halfway decent after what we're going to get into after their second preseason game.
At least on paper they are.
Yeah. Well, again, their games aren't played on paper. Jim, where are they played?
Inside television sets.
Exactly.
Kenny Mayne.
But yeah, it's. I last year we really boycotted them, Patrick. We were so both of us were so incensed. But this year I'm watching the highlight packages. I will say, first of all, we should all do this. Joe Thomas, easiest first ballot Hall of Famer in the last 10 years. But they've got real problems. They played their first team played against a good defense in Philadelphia the other night and didn't do a damn thing.
Well, who on their first team played?
I know at least.
The Browns' first team mainly didn't play.
I know Billy did.
To be fair.
Did the O-line play?
All I know is Watson didn't play, the receivers didn't play, Chubb didn't play. Like, none of the first team, I don't think, played.
What are they waiting for?
I don't know. Maybe a couple guys. Well, that I wonder. That I was like, you should probably play Watson. I mean, like, they're going to play him in the last game, I guess. But, yeah, they didn't play the first team at least.
All right, Jim, maybe Stefanski does need to go.
Over that?
Yeah, we're going to see, because I've actually said on this show over the last few weeks, if they come out of the chute, because I know that they got the early bye week, if they come out of the chute 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, I think he's gone, and Jim Schwartz is your interim.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side. I said they're going to give him a full year with Deshaun, but then Jim made a good point.
I think so.
By that time, that's going to be 14 games with him.
I know. But I think that he's supposedly a big reason why he came here. That's what they say. Is that Stefanski and them are like match. And I would think that they would at least get a year together. I don't know. It depends. This can go sideways really fast. You're right. They need to be good now. They cannot.
Yeah.
You're right. If they're good, then maybe they can hold this thing together. But like if they slowly, this is the year to be good. Like I said, I wonder about the length of the primes of Cooper and Chubb. You know, like how many great years do they have left? Where it's like you got to act now. We said that 2 years ago. We're wasting the primes of our great players. Denzel Ward has concussion issues and everything. So I agree. You can't come out slow.
Patrick, think about this. By the time they get to the bye week, Nick Chubb's probably going to have over 600 yards. He's going to be in second place on the team's all-time rushing list, and he's still going to be 6,000 behind Jim Brown.
I have said that. Like I'm like, man, if he gets there, you're going to have a conversation. Chubb is that great. I don't say that lightly. Chubb is that great.
No, and the reason they got him so late is because of the injuries at Georgia. That's the only reason he was in the second round to be had. My main concern now is I didn't watch the highlight package from this game, but now I'm concerned that he's not playing the first teamers, especially against Philly, who, if I read it right, had a good chunk of their first team defense in there. Listen, if I had to call it right now, Philly's going back to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I don't see there's a team that can beat them. The defense was shored up with the Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. They did a great job in the draft. They've done a great job in free agency and trades, adding DeAndre Swift. So this is a good team. Why you wouldn't play your first team against a good defense, that bothers me a little bit, because who do they have in the preseason finale?
Commanders? I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know.
Didn't
they play the Commanders already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, duh. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember anymore. It's
Well, who's gonna defend Stefanski? Is it gonna be me? Somebody has to do it, right?
I do too.
Yeah. So
I like him too. I think he was in on Baker getting.
I would say every coach does it differently. You know, like usually the third game is standard. So I don't like it. And again, I don't like it with Watson not looking good. Like, I'm like, does it kill you to put him in for a series? Like, but we want to see that. He saw him plenty against the Eagles in practice, and that is basically like a scrimmage. So I think that was his thinking, is we already scrimmaged them. I don't need to see anymore. But what I don't
like... They play Kansas City.
Okay. Well, that could be good. But they might be sitting everybody. But what I don't like and what bothers me is the Cade York thing. Obviously,
Thank
I
you.
lost. Well, I bet on the Browns in preseason, which I shouldn't do. But they were going to win, and Cade York, missed those 2 field goals. It cost me a lot of money. I mean, I ended up getting a tie, but, he missed 2 in a row. And I'm like, oh my God, I was so mad. And then afterward, it's like this front office is just snooty and stuck up. And that includes Stefanski to a degree. Like, where it's like they ask him about York, and it's like, oh, we're steadfast. We're not interested in looking at anybody else. Like, it's like they're going to be burned by thinking they're smarter than everybody. In the end, that's going to be, I think, the story is that they thought they were smarter than everybody. Because you got to bring in at least the kicker for show to show that, Cade. And I think Cade has bigger issues. I think he has mental issues, but I saw some kicker analyzing it and saying like he actually has had mechanical issues dating back to you, like a foot plant thing, or something, where it seems like he always misses right, and then he overcorrected yesterday or the other day and missed left. But holding issues, Stoodle said it wasn't a hold issue.
Could it be that the laces were in?
You're going to make me do it. You're going to make me do it. You're going to make me do it.
Dummy.
No. No.
Wrong.
Oh, yeah, Patrick, by the way, the soundboard's gotten a lot funnier.
Has it?
It's now on the phone.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Oh, wow. We got range now.
Jim, did you get the message I left you today? We've got to get Leslie Nielsen from Airplane. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
There might be an MJF version of that I think might be funnier in context.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
God
No,
damn it,
it's Leslie Nielsen. Patrick, please tell him you got to do the Airplane clip and not somebody else.
For what? I'm lost.
So I called him earlier, and I said to him, like, dude, we've got to find Leslie Nielsen saying, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, oh yeah.
From Airplane. It can't be MJF. As much fun as MJF is, and again,
I'm trying to think of the Office spin on that. Like Michael says, like something like don't call me definitely, like Shirley, don't call me definitely, or something like that. I don't know, because he says something in place of Shirley, and like he does that spin on it.
That's what she said.
Yeah,
that's what she said. Yeah,
I've got to get that one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've got to add that.
Here's my other
idiot.
But so here's I got an interesting take on what you were saying about the Browns front office. No, they're not smarter than everybody else. They may think they are. Right. But again, you mentioned Watson and Stefanski being simpatico. That's why he came there. He didn't go there for that. He went there for $230 million guaranteed dollars.
All of these stories are retconned. They're all retconned. It's after the fact. It's like, oh, there was this kiss between the two, and
they were out. They were out until they took away.
That doesn't mean, though. That doesn't mean it won't make Watson unhappy if Stefanski's shipped out. Then he's going to be like, what are you doing? We don't even have a coach. You're going with Schwartz, who's been cast out other places already. Like, what are we doing?
No, what's going to make Watson unhappy is when he starts playing like shit and Dorian Thompson-Robinson takes over as the starter at the end of the year when they're out of the playoffs.
You know, fans are going to root for that, but I don't think that'll happen. I don't think
in a perfect world, if we put it into the universe, maybe it happens, buddy.
I wish.
Hey, Jim, if that happens, we're live streaming the game.
I said I was not doing Browns reacts this year like I did last year after games. I even announced it on my YouTube page that it would not be coming back for a second season. Doesn't mean I will not do a live game react. I'm in.
Can I ask you guys, so let me ask you this. Like, for me last year, it was that I really couldn't care. I wanted to care. I wanted to be like, because I love the Browns. I want to enjoy the Browns. I want to enjoy my Sunday. I've done that my whole life. I physically could not. And especially going back to Brissett, you kind of like knew, and I love Jacoby, but come on, like you knew we're not really going anywhere. It's hard to get excited about that after Baker and everything. But like, that's the same thing. I don't know about it. Like right now, I feel, I hate saying it, a little more excited, a little more.
I was thinking of the word optimistic. Yeah.
But really, I'm not like the old way, but I'm a little more like, oh, hey, sweet football. Like, great. But I don't know. There's no amount of winning that changed what they did,
No, there's not.
I think how I equate it, and Patrick, you can attest to this as a Clevelander, since they've been back in 95, it was 99, I think it's kind of gone in swells and shifts. So originally it was excited because they were back, but we knew they were not going to be good. So it was just riding it through. Then they had the peak, then they died off, and there was the disappointment, and then there was mediocrity, and then we got, then Baker came in, and there was all the excitement, and it was there, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And right when we think that they do, then everything falls apart, and then we can't support them. And because of the nature of who they went out and got, and now that we're starting to be a little bit more optimistic, we have to stop and backpedal and realize, wait a minute, it's still the same guy.
Right. And I'm trying, it is just human nature. It's human nature for us to kind of, you can't keep up that energy constantly of like, I can't support this guy, because we like football. He's holding football hostage from us, and we want it back. So that's how I feel about it anyway.
I brought this up with go ahead, Mike.
I want to ask this question, and it's going to be very tainted, especially for you two who are native Clevelanders, me having lived there for a good chunk of my life. With the turmoil the move caused, and if it blows up in their face, are they going to put Arthur Modell and Deshaun Watson in the same sentence?
You can go first, Jim.
I'm going to say no, because Modell ripped the team away, and he will never get into the Hall of Fame, and it taints his legacy. Watson's just going to basically be another added onto the list like Dwayne Bowe. It's going to be throwing all this money at a guy who flamed out. And
but he kind of did rip the team away from people, Jim.
He's just a player that they went out and they broke the bank to be able to try and get, and they threw the money to be able to appease him to come. Yeah.
As long as he ruins the Bucks too.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so. I think he already is.
I do too.
The Bucks are losing a step.
I'm waiting for the Giannis trade to happen.
I hope so.
I guarantee in the next 2 years, the Cavs, even if Donovan leaves, is going to still be the class of that division. And I guarantee Indiana is going to supplant Milwaukee as second best.
Indiana's going to be real good.
About Indiana right now.
Love Halliburton. Love him. But
so let's.
Yeah, about the. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish up.
Answer the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just, and obviously, I don't feel this way. It's like a lot of people who would say, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. They like him. Like, there's a lot of our fan base that would say there is no problem. What turmoil did he cause? What did he even do? They were, they weren't massage therapists. They were prostitutes. Like, whatever. He was just doing his thing. He didn't hurt anybody. Blah, 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 blah. And I think that come football season, they don't have a problem with it. They really don't. Because they do, one place I do think they have a point is we root for unsavory characters every Sunday. And is he any worse than many people we've rooted for before? We just celebrated Jim Brown. I mean, that is one
Good
thing,
point.
one leg they may have to stand on. One leg they may have to stand on is it's football. We know that not everybody's the same. My counter is he's the quarterback. It's hard to look past that, but it doesn't necessarily make it worse. It just makes it more out front.
Here's my other question. Anybody seen any new Progressive commercials recently?
I don't know. Somebody's got to live in there. No, oh hell no. That's
Progressive
sponsorship.
has not released a new commercial since Baker Mayfield was traded to Carolina.
Yep.
Actually, since he got hurt.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys. I don't know if. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if they were, it's like, who's it going to be other than the quarterback? It can't be anybody else. Could they?
Patrick, I don't know if you saw this, but they're closing that main campus too.
Wait, what's that?
They're moving everybody over to the Glass House.
Yeah, they're closing that primary campus on Som Center.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, they found that they're so sufficient of working remotely that they're that massive
Oh wow.
Yeah, that main campus. They're actually going to put them into the one that you see on 271 as you come up on the Mayfield exit. They're going to start putting people over at campus too. It's like, okay, if you're going to close that, either develop it or give me the golf course back from when I was growing up there.
Yeah.
Which one did they get rid of?
Pine Crest or Pine Ridge or something.
That's the little par 3?
Yeah.
That's where Tri-C held their golf class.
Yep.
Because I took that class. So let's move on to something to be optimistic about, and let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and let's talk about a team coming off a 51-win season.
Okay. All right.
I am extremely optimistic. But my first question to you, sir, is how do they fill Ricky Rubio's shoes?
Oh, well, I mean, the first thing is like a nebulous thing. I think I don't expect him back, but I don't think he's official. I think he's kind of mulling it. Maybe he could come back, maybe not. And I think Kobe and the Cavs had a sense about this before he announced it. I think they might have, it's going to happen. The way I look at it is it's similar kind of, right, like how the Cavs have the two bigs and they have the two guards where Mobley's the backup center, basically, and Donovan Mitchell's really the backup point guard. And it works like that with Karis LeVert, too. They both can handle the ball. And Jerome is a point guard. I mean, he was meant to be a backup point guard. I think they'll experiment with him as a spot shooter, too, though. He's 6'5", so he can play different positions. I wouldn't be surprised. I thought maybe a lower-level move, put Craig Porter Jr. on the roster as the third string, because, like I said, he's really like the fifth string. He's probably not going to play much. It's not that big of a job. And maybe add Sharif Cooper to their two-way group instead of Porter, if they're going to call it Porter. I don't think they're going to make a move for a point guard. Because I don't think Rubio was really going to play.
Who's going to play the three? Is it going to be Okoro? Is it going to be Strus? In your expert and honest opinion,
$63 million says Strus to me. I mean, it's almost got to be Strus, and I think Okoro will be like sixth man's LeVert. Okoro will be like seventh. I'd say like he'll be off the bench. He'll be in the rotation.
So here's my question, though, because Jim and I talked about this before, and I think him and I are in agreement about what I'm going to say. Isaac Okoro was their best on-ball defender.
Yes.
Can you put him down at the 7 spot on that bench and still be able to have the impact he makes on that end of the floor?
That's kind of my argument. It should be a platoon. It should be like some teams you want the offense, some teams you want the defense, and if you need the defense, you start Okoro. But teams don't usually do that in the NBA. I'd say Okoro, his minutes have been dwindling regardless, and he's been down to 22 this last year. one thing I think would be good about him coming off the bench is he'll play shooting guard. He'll play his natural position, which may help. And with Niang and Strus and other shooters, he may actually be able to play his game, which is getting downhill and slashing. It's not like he's not supposed to sit in the corner shooting threes, although improving at that will help him get minutes. But I see it as like, yeah, you would be best to platoon them, but Strus got the money. It's hard to imagine them actually. I am concerned defensively about a Garland, Mitchell, Strus lineup. I don't like that defensively either.
Let me pose this question to you, Patrick. Could this also be as great of an offseason as they had, and arguably it was one of the top three in the entire league? Could this also be working against them, that there might be too much depth and there might be key guys like an Okoro who might get shoved to like 8th, 9th in the rotation? You've got to find an identity for some of the other ones in there, that you're not going to be able to get the guys the minutes that they want. And then because of game situations, you're going to need a Okoro out there as your on-ball defender, but you're also going to need offense, and guys like Strus or LeVert that can play that 2-3 hybrid are not going to be on the floor because of the situation.
Yeah, I think 1 through 8 they have a nice rotation. I think you have the starters starting with Strus at the 3, and then LeVert, Okoro, and Niang. And then I think though, like 9 to 13, it's kind of like a battle royal. Like I think like a lot of these guys have upside, but they aren't exactly solidified or consistent necessarily. And I think, Dean Wade, what's Dean Wade going to give us this year? Because he was critical, like to things working for us. We need a spacer who Niang cannot defend. Niang can do the floor spacing, but he cannot defend like Dean Wade can. And Dean Wade's still only 26. Was it the shoulder? Was it the confidence? Is he cooked? Or can we expect something from him? Ty Jerome probably be around that 10th area. Then after that, you're getting into Damian Jones, the backup center, and Sam Merrill. And Merrill's an example, I think, of what you're saying. I want to see Sam Merrill play and get some minutes. So I think that Merrill could definitely get minutes in situations where they want more shooting. I don't think they have too much depth. I get what you're saying. But yeah, I would like them at least get Merrill some time. And I think Rubio being out kind of helps that situation a little bit. With guys will get opportunities.
And the other name that we're actually forgetting, and Mike is very high on him, younger Mobley. As
I
great
like
of a summer league as he had. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the question with him is, man, it's like people are split on him, but I think I'm not too carried away with him, but I think he's an NBA player. I don't think he's a star. I don't know if he's a rotation player, but he's an NBA player, and he should be offered a full-time contract. The one thing is that it's all going to come down to that. He's a very intriguing, smart, jack-of-all-trades player. He can pass. He can bring the ball up. He can shoot. I mean, he can do everything, and he's a very supportive teammate. Also, I think he's a good locker room guy, and he can't be bad for keeping Evan's head on straight and our prospects for keeping Evan long term. So I like Isaiah too, and I think he should be on the roster.
Does Zamoni Bates have a chance of even making this roster?
Well, it's interesting. They have, I think, 2 open roster spots? It depends with Rubio. It might be 3. So I don't know what they're up to. I don't know. They don't have to fill out the roster necessarily. And maybe they have, I don't know. There's been the murmurs about PJ Washington. Some people keep bringing it up. I don't really see any smoke, but people keep bringing it up as a possibility. In that case, I would say maybe, Okoro. And for me personally, with Bates, it's like we got to get this right with him, and I want whatever's best for him. And I think two-way is the best option. Get him full-time minutes playing with the Charge. and maybe give him a taste of the NBA as we go. I wouldn't force him. Kid's 19. He's not even 19 and a half, I don't think. Like, I
No.
see him as at least a 1-year project before you talk about him playing in the NBA and contributing. But he can shoot. So you never know.
Yeah, he can definitely shoot the rock. That's where I was wondering, because they went out and they got shooters to go around, especially adding Strus and Yang. I just feel like they need that kid. I really do.
I love him.
I
love it. I mean, I'm excited
So do
about
I.
him, and I love him, and I think that they really did. They got a lottery pick at 49. I really think he's that talented. He's one of the 14 most talented kids to come out this year, and I was impressed with his instincts and everything. It sounds silly to say, but there were moments it's like where you see him jump a passing lane, and you see him block a shot, you see him make a big dunk, and these plays seem to happen when it's winning time. It seems to happen like he amps it up, and that's what stars do. That's what a star player does, is he just gets better when the game's on the line. And a knock on Bates was that he's not athletic. He looked plenty athletic to me. I think he's a crazy athlete, but he's athletic enough to play. And that's what I thought when I saw the blocks and the dunks and everything. I'm like, I thought this kid was like, that's what people are telling me. And he's not. And good.
Oh, so too many people looked at his draft number and called him a stiff.
It's the combine too. He had a bad combine, and I always said don't trust that. And
No.
you put him in a NBA strength and conditioning program. He needs to put on weight, like, for sure. Even more than Mobley. I mean, he's going to be a project.
I was just going to say, it's what time does Five Guys close so we can actually go get Mobley some cheeseburgers right now?
Seriously, let's go. Get him some fries. Get him everything.
Get Wembanyama some too.
Mike, stop, because I was just thinking that from the translator last month.
We're on the same wavelength, friend.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been there.
Patrick fits in so well. We're talking about Wembanyama, and all of a sudden we hear, well, I like Five Guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Although that what's his name, Jordan the Stallion or whatever, the guy with the Fast Food Secrets Club, actually says that Five Guys, you think that you're not getting nearly as much for your dollar. It's like the most expensive burgers out there.
They're very expensive.
That's why I stopped going there. It's way too expensive. Way too expensive. Yeah. It's like $15 like to like have a meal.
I can do the same thing in my air fryer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All those fast food places like that now, where it's like you might as well go sit down. Like it's like you can't get out without spending $12-13.
Yeah.
We are talking about fast food.
Yeah, just like what? Even a few.
These are relevant issues.
What? Right before the pandemic, it's like you could get a McDouble for like $1, and now they're what, $3.50?
Oh, and remember that's what they said would happen if we raised the minimum wage, but then it happened anyway. They always say, "Oh, prices are going to go up if you raise the minimum wage," and they just go up anyway.
I'm just so glad I actually started working out as much as I did, starting as last January, because otherwise I'd probably be a lot more pissed off that McDonald's doesn't do all-day breakfast anymore.
Oh, I know. I got that big what's that called? That big breakfast. Oh my god. It's like, but it sounds, and this is how like messed up my diet's been. That was like the first real meal I've had in a long time. A big breakfast from McDonald's. I actually had sausage and eggs, like I was like, wow, this is great. Because usually I just grab like a Pop-Tart. Like I'm constantly just like living on little snacks.
Write down the OTR, Jim. Just write it down. 1:20 and 40 seconds.
10:57.
This is great because I don't remember the things I say. Like, ever. People are like, remember when you said that? And I'm like, no.
That's going to be my whole morning tomorrow, is after I'm off the phone with my mom, watching tonight's Hallmark movie and cutting video.
Dude, you will have a place at the table at the end, not only the end of year show, but I have a feeling your impression of the Washington City Edition jersey is going to be in the Wiseys in January.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because I was really trying to like sound it out like a kid. I was like, CL clit. Like, what's a clit?
The girl at my office, there's only 3 people that are actually in-house every day, and she's got to come in because she can't work from home. She flew down to, guess where?
Charlotte?
For 2 weeks.
Charlotte. No way. Wow.
And I had to explain it to her when I showed her the jersey.
Wow, that was something.
That was hilarious.
So Jim, you're working out, you said? What are you doing?
Like
To rent.
about 5 to 6 times a week. It's cardio kickboxing. I will go for a walk around the block in my office because I go in every day still. That's like 1.3 miles. I've recently started doing like a 3-mile stretch here in Mayfield Heights. Like I'll walk all the way up to like the police station, walk down to Mayfield, head up to Somme, and then just circle all the way back. So it's like upwards of an hour of cardio. I can't lift because I've got like medical issues, so I can't get big. I've got like medical implants that I can't let my body expand like that. I was mainly trying to get, yeah.
I
was born,
4 replacements in my neck.
I was born with a brain tumor, so there's an implant down the side of my neck.
Okay, that's a little, yeah. But yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, like that's what people forget. It's like walking is great. It's like, you know, especially if you can, like, it's easy on your joints and everything.
Yep.
But,
And then,
like, I gotta get my act together. I used to be like, do it, like, and I just, the energy, because I've had 4 surgeries, and I just, it's like, couldn't lift anymore. It just really, I enjoy it, and I got to get back to it.
I chase a toddler.
That helps.
close enough, yeah.
I chase my cat. My cat's fatter than I am, honestly. So I don't.
Mine is
I
behind
think
me.
they're fat, though, is the thing. Yeah, well, mine's right at my feet. She's like on the ground, like I'm over here. Let me show you this fucking. Let me show you this unit. Look at that sucker. Is that a cat? Is that a cat? You cat? All right. Had to show her off.
That animal looked like she was gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Or come through the camera and come after us.
Yeah, I was a little worried. Although, you know, my bodyguard's asleep.
No, this cat calls with me like every night. She's a sweetheart. Yeah,
Hey,
I never
bud.
knew I'd grow up to be the guy with cats, but here I am.
I got two of
I got
them.
no woman, but I got a cat. No
I
dog,
like cats.
just a cat.
They taste like chicken.
I love cat.
Nom, nom, nom.
Oh, wow. Got Mao Zedong over here. Don't people scare you when they say that about the Chinese? Eh? They're like, yeah.
Wait.
Like, oh yeah, they use cat for meat, you know, and you're like, oh my god.
In one breath he said clit, and then 2 breaths later he said Mao Zedong. This is some shit here.
1101.
1101.
I'm a simple man, but with a broad education.
Patrick, you see how I'm timing these out like Alan Cox does?
Yeah, here we go. Check.
Oh my god.
What else we got to
So-
talk about?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch we can get to, but circling back to the Cavs real quick, I do have one other question I want to talk to you guys about because you're on the ground at home. I'm jacked for this season. I really am. I downloaded the patch for the schedule.
Excited.
Is anybody else excited, or are they still stuck on the goddamn Browns?
Who cares? I'm excited. And think about it. Like
Thank you.
Last year was their 9th best season of of all time, like record-wise, LeBron. And I think this year's going to be better. You know, think about that. Like, we have a great season to look forward to, and I definitely think they're going to beat the piss out of the guts. I really do think that they're the more talented team, and we play them twice in the first 3 weeks. We play them back-to-back at home and then on the road. That's there to stick it to Mitchell Robinson and say, we're not letting that happen this year. It's not happening. And I hope to see Strus hit 5 bombs, you know, like them pay for doubling, trapping Mitchell and trapping Garland.
I honestly think that this is going to be. I think they can pull the 4 seed again. I think Miami's just going to be too much, to be honest with you. Boston again.
Whose prediction? Wins.
On wins, I think they can hit the 51 again. I can see 51 and 31 again.
I'm going to go 55.
Well, you're going 4-game?
Exactly. I'd
okay.
say 55.
Really? Okay.
The analytics, the advanced stuff said the Cavs should have won 56 games last year. So, and that's been a criticism. Bickerstaff has been winning as many games as you were supposed to, based on what the spread say, you know. And then I think we added talent. I do think that the Bucks are slipping a little bit. This is if Mobley takes a step forward, that's going to be the key. I think that
agreed.
55 wins in either the second or third seed.
That's
how optimistic I am.
I can't believe I'm actually stunned by hearing you say if Mobley takes a step forward, because here he was, runner-up for Rookie of the Year, and then he follows that up with runner-up to Defensive Player of the Year. I'm thinking to myself, how much more can he step up from what he already has outside of
honestly,
not 10 pounds?
Honestly, if he first of all, if he can, and if he puts on a couple of lbs so he can bang a little bit more, and he still plays the defense he did, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a stretch 4.
Like,
yeah, and that's a stretch 4.
You're saying that it's like he's this good already, and it's like, but the ceiling is that big, and it's like that's why he's so intriguing. Is he hasn't even scratched the surface? He's just going out there just playing ball. He's a kid still. He has no idea how to like dominate a game and feel his presence. I don't think he knows how tall he is. He doesn't seem to realize how big he is. And I think too, one of the biggest things that people forget, and this is how people knock Jared Allen too. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, they eat into each other's stats. Both of them would be 20 and 10 by themselves. And I'm seeing Mobley at 3 or 4 assists this year easily. It's another thing is it's like that raw of an offensive game, I think Mobley would be averaging 20 already. And that's like, again, without a real jump shot.
Well, here's my question, and Jim, I think we talked about it with you too, on how Bickerstaff's biggest issue in the playoffs last year was his rotations were horrible. You think he learned his lesson?
Adjustments in the second half.
Yeah. Do you think he learned his lesson?
Weird. I think. Well, I don't know. I think so, but again, he's a veteran coach. It's not like but 1-6 does concern me. It does. But I think that, like I said, is not a huge Bickerstaff fan, but I'm not against him. And I did think that the series against the Knicks had more to do with the roster and more to do with the players than Bickerstaff. Not that he was good, but that players let us down, and we lacked firepower. We needed help to spread the floor and get these off of Mitchell and Garland. And also, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley need to be not afraid to take 15-foot jump shots. And I know that they're not great shooters, but I've seen them hit those shots. That shot was there all series. Refused to take an elbow jump shot because it was either the Knicks were always crashed inside, stuffed inside. That shot was there, and they just were not confident they just lack confidence in that shot. And I'm hoping to see them develop there, both of them. I'd rather than Mobley. Well, Mobley being a three-point shooter would be awesome, I'm not going to lie. But both of them being able to hit from mid-range, they need to be confident to take it.
I was going to say, because you've got 6 other guys on this team that can actually shoot from the outside, so you don't want Mobley. Right, now we do.
Right.
It's I mean,
Yeah.
you've even got a 6'10" big in Dean Wade who can actually hit the three, and let Mobley bang inside with the defense.
Sorry to cut you off, Jim. That Damian Jones, he hit 78% last year. He took 14 and he hit 10. And for his career, he's hit 38%.
Wow.
That might be part of what they liked about him. You can let him shoot. I mean, he's clearly not a bad shooter. I don't know if he's a real, I don't know if it's anything to take seriously. 10 of 14 is not a bum, who knows?
No.
Yeah.
No, this season's going to come down to what step the young core takes next. But how long before ESPN starts putting is Donovan Mitchell going to stay crap out there to start distracting these
all
guys?
Season. It'll be there.
Scumbags.
Yeah.
What gets more? What gets more run? Donovan leaving Cleveland or Embiid leaving Philly?
Probably Philly, just because Philly's bigger.
Probably Philly because he's going to end up with the Knicks.
Well, yeah, but they want Mitchell too. It's all about the Knicks. I don't think it makes sense.
He ain't going to the Knicks.
I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for either of them, but I really don't see the logistics to it, so I'm not worried about it. And I still maintain that regardless of the outcome of all of this, if they man him, that deal is a victory. If you sign Mitchell and you have Mitchell, Mobley, and Garland for 5 years together, that's a victory. That means you won the trade. Yeah, there it is. You're right. That was all him. This is like Serenity now. Oh my gosh. Serenity now. Serenity now.
I think he's kind of adjusting things, and he cuts his cam when he does it.
Okay. Oh,
well,
man.
I'm gonna kill the mood here for a couple of minutes and shift into a topic that I wanted to discuss. On a personal level, I lost somebody who I looked up to for a lot of years in the world of sports media, and that was on Thursday night, the passing of longtime Buffalo Sabre lead play-by-play announcer Rick Jeanneret at the age of 81. Jeanneret was calling Sabre games for 51 seasons.
Wow.
And the Sabres have only had 3 announcers in their history. And Jeanneret even retired not last year, but the year before, and still called 20 games. After multiple organ failures, he survived stage 3 throat cancer. Had some of the most iconic calls in the history of the NHL for a team that's only made the finals twice and has still never won a Stanley Cup, and also is currently tied for the longest playoff drought with the New York Jets of 12 years of any major professional sporting league in this country. So while Mike is on his way back, I wanted to pose the question here, and now I was actually just bringing up the Rick Jeanneret piece. With the Jeanneret piece kind of hitting me a little bit closer, being a Sabre fan for over 30 years, having watched Philadelphia growing up, which was based out of Buffalo, who was the broadcaster that when you found out that they passed, it hurt you? And more so, if it was something that was recent, and I'm not talking something like maybe a Joe Tate who had been retired for a number of years and then passed away.
You can go ahead, Mike.
Mike, we don't have any audio on you.
It was muted, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, other cat decided to kick the light over and then kick out the plug on the laptop. Apologies. So I got a couple. I have Bob Murphy from the Mets, who literally retired at the end of the 2003 season and was gone by mid-2004. I think we all can say Fred.
Yeah. Fred was one of the first I thought of when I started writing the Generette piece yesterday, because like another one that I can actually remember watching, like right after ESPN picked up the NHL last year. Remember Dave Strader, who had actually called games. He was kind of the B team outside of like Gary Thorne and Bill Clement. So Dave Strader passed like in off season. He was the lead play-by-play guy for the Dallas Stars. Patrick, you remember as a Clevelander, and Mike, you also can remember like Nev Chandler and Casey Coleman passing away shortly after they left the Browns, and Gibb Shanley, and Herb Score's not with us anymore.
How long was it after Herb left the booth in '97 that he went? Was it the next year?
I got to look that up here, but I don't think it was that long. He passed away in 2008, so he had been gone about a decade. So
he was gone over a decade. Okay,
it was more so so Herb was more in the Joe Tate range, that he had already retired and then passed on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Patrick, do you have one?
Yeah. I mean, for me, definitely Fred McLeod of Cavs. I mean, that was devastating. Switched announcers. Because I loved Michael Regai, and he was just really cool. Michael Regai had where I got my like robust vocabulary from listening to Michael Regai. Like, he called emphatic put down. And he just had the best descriptive words. And he said them so well. He attacked a two-syllable word like it was unbelievable. And I loved him, and I was really disappointed when he was replaced. But it was replaced with Fred McLeod, and that was shortly after LeBron came to the Cavs. And it used to. Over a couple years, I was like, this guy's awesome. He's extremely professional. I mean, we're so lucky to have him. He seems like he should be announcing the finals. He's that professional and that good. He like a lot of people, he's the Detroit guy, but he got Northeast Ohio in his blood. Loved Cleveland. I mean, he really, really found a home here. And him and Austin Carr friends. It was really just shocking. It was shocking, and I believe it was cancer. And I've had that in my family too. I didn't want that guy to stop announcing games. I mean, we have Brian Michael now, and he's doing okay, but I read McLeod. That was just so sad because he was young. I mean, he was very young, and that's what happens. You think you're long for this world, and you really don't know.
Mike, I would have posed this question to you, and I'm going to go here. For you, what would hurt more, losing Keith or losing Gary?
Gary.
And that's Keith Hernandez and Gary Cohen from the Mets broadcast.
Gary. And here's why. All jokes aside that my father looks like Keith Hernandez, he actually does. But my dad was stopped at Hopkins Airport in a Mets jacket. A little boy asked him if he was Keith Hernandez.
Awesome.
Should have charged somebody $5 for the autograph.
Keith had charged 10. Anyway, when Gary and Howie went into the Mets Hall of Fame this year, Gary had a closing line that sticks with me to this day. He looked at the crowd. He goes, "I'm one of you. I've just been very fortunate." And I think about it. I mean, he started in the upper deck at Shea Stadium as a kid. He was in Pawtucket announcing Red Sox minor league games, and they took a chance on him when Gary Thorne left the Mets. He's been in the booth since 1989 in New York. He was a radio guy for years. Him and Howie had a couple seasons together, and then he took over SNY in 2006. Gary. And by the way, more than Gary, Howie.
Yeah, because I've got a very high appreciation of Howie for all those years he called Islander games until he turned over to Brendan Burke.
Because I listen to radio more than anything because of my location now, or watch the condensed game, so I do get Gary. But Howie, the radio broadcasters they're the soundtrack of your summer, because you're listening to a ball game in a car. You're listening to. I mean, that's like me asking you, Hammy or.
Thank you for bringing this up. I wanted to actually now go around the horn here. All as Clevelanders, what would hurt more, losing Hammy or losing Jim Donovan, because of how much we watched Jim Donovan on the newscast growing up as well?
You're asking me to pick being hit by Mike
That-
Tyson
they're
or
like neck and
freaking
neck for me.
Muhammad Ali.
I have more of a.
Mike, go
more of a
ahead, because I
personal
think Patrick's
attachment, but
chopping
I'm
up a little
sure
bit
I
here.
know why. Maybe because Tammy's on the radio. Oh, it is.
I'm the baseball guy, so it's Hammy for me. Not that I don't love Jim Donovan, but I'm the baseball guy. And Hammy had the best boxing call of the year so far.
Real quick, Rick Jeanneret was inducted into the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame as an honorary member in 2018, sheerly off of the way that he called hockey fights.
Really?
Never called a boxing match in his life.
That's pretty cool.
For me, I gotta probably go Jimmy D, just because of listening to Browns games for as long as I have, and also not only, again, watching him on the newscast, but I've worked with Jim Donovan at certain events before, and just what a wonderful human being. Unfortunately, I've never had the luxury of working with Hammy when I was in the media, but yeah, two amazing storytellers, but I have to lean a little bit towards Jimmy D.
I was going to say that because because I physically see him like regularly. I think Hammy I don't see often, so I don't know, that adds to it. And I love those videotapes of Jimmy D in the booth with Deacon responding, to something going on in the. You see how much he loves his job, man. He really loves his job. And he's
Patrick,
the same thing, Mike. That I'm lucky. I have the luckiest position in the world.
let me ask you something. As much as everyone enjoys Nathan Zagura, would you prefer Joe Thomas in the booth?
I don't really like Joe Thomas, honestly. I like him as
Really?
a player. I know you guys were crazy, but I don't know, man. He comes off a little smarmy to me, and what it is, there's something about him that I think
He's from Wisconsin.
He's Republican.
You're saying that as a Buckeye homer.
I'm saying he's a Republican. And I'm saying that's basically what it is. You called me out on it, and you were right, okay?
Like I said, he's from Wisconsin.
That's what you said, I know, but I meant he's a Republican, and that's what bothers me. But no, it's not just that. Really though, sometimes I'm like, he surprises me as a person. Sometimes. I don't know. He just seems like a dick sometimes. I don't know. The stuff he said, I don't know. It's just
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah. In the booth and stuff about women and I don't know, just weird stuff. That it's probably not that big of a deal, but it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I definitely would not want him in the booth. It's just a dude, and I can tolerate Zagura. But I don't love Zagura either.
Who would be your dream partner for Jim Donovan? Now that Doug Deacon is retired. But now that Doug's retired.
Who's available?
Create an AI program of Deke.
Who's available?
What, Tournament of Jarvis?
Well,
I'll allow it.
yeah, who's like
How about-
Tim
'Cause you
Couch.
gotta go-
Tim Couch.
That's mean.
Tim Couch is a pretty good analyst.
Tim Couch is a damn good analyst, but that's mean. Don't make Tim Couch call games where the offensive line is 10 times better than anything he lined up behind in his tenure.
Yeah, man, but when it goes south, nobody knows better than him. I kind of like it. I like it because I think a lot of Browns fans do love Tim Couch. Are not sour about him.
Yeah, my only concern is that as a former player and knows exactly what's going on out there, it would turn into very much like a Kevin Brown with the Baltimore Orioles type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or the Romo thing. Yeah, where it's like, all right, we heard you. We know we
Yeah,
know
but
you know. Like what
I
doing.
love Romo.
I do too. I
love
like
Romo.
hearing that stuff. I like hearing Brex say this is what they're doing. I like it. A lot of people, but it does get repetitive.
It does get repetitive, but I also think a lot of people like Romo just because he's a bro on the broadcast with the best that there is in Jim Nantz.
Yes.
Yeah, he is a bro. Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly,
I'm sticking
honestly, I hope Gronk calls games.
Gronk?
Not NFL games. Don't cut my camera, you son of a bitch.
Like WWE, maybe.
No, McAfee's got that sewn up.
Yeah, he's great at it, actually. It's fun watching over and over again.
It is. No, but could you imagine? Because apparently Gronk is like some kind of savant. Julian Edelman did New Heights. Yeah. Gronk didn't watch film. They basically told Gronk once, and he did it.
Neither did Manziel. We should have talked about that.
Did you see the documentary?
I haven't seen all of it yet, but that's hysterical.
I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Because I want to talk about that.
The Browns are only in it about 10 minutes, but...
That's about as long as he was there.
Yeah.
I knew it from the start, man. Did you guys like it when they picked him? I didn't. I hated it.
No. It was because it was another guy that they drafted late in the first round that they took a gamble on, ironically enough, at 22, which was Whedon and Brady Quinn.
Yep. And I hate
who did they take earlier?
Who are you talking about?
In that draft, that was the second pick they had in that first round.
They
Who was
traded
the first
down
one?
on that one.
Oh, okay.
They traded down and then back up to get him.
But who did?
That was my question, because I thought that was...
That's a good question. Is it like it's like Phil Taylor or something?
Did you see? Speaking of the kicking issues,
Justin
Phil
Gilbert?
Dawson said he come.
Was it Justin Gilbert? It's got to be Justin Gilbert.
You might be right on that. I'm actually pulling up that draft right now.
Did you see Phil Dawson? Did you see Phil Dawson said he'd come back and kick, but Deshaun's got to give up his number?
Yeah, I saw that on I saw that on X earlier today. Yeah, you're right. It was Gilbert at 8, which they got from Minnesota.
Manziel, and they didn't even know who these people were at all. They didn't even interview Gilbert, and he was the worst. He might be the worst. He was so bad that you forgot about him altogether. How bad do you have to be?
What position did he play?
Bad. Defensive back.
I'm going back over that draft, and man, this draft was pretty bad.
But I was looking at Barry's last couple drafts of York, and I'm like, they're not that great. And the York one, it's York. They took Schwartz, York, and Winfrey in a row. Those three, and they're gonna be off the team, all three of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say cut, arrested. Yeah.
And you took a kicker. It's like, what does the kicker have to be? Jeez.
I will say that they did actually come out smelling like a rose in that 2014 draft because they took Batonio with the 3rd pick in the 2nd round, who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
That's all draft?
Yep.
Yeah, I got Antonio. Did you get anybody else?
God, Jarvis went in that draft too. Christian Kirksey, who was good for a little while, and then injuries sidelined him. Terrence West.
Okay. Unnecessary pick, but okay.
Pierre Desir.
He's all right.
Who?
5th round.
Desir's still in the league, though, honestly.
Did not have a 5.
I think you said they did not have a father.
I don't see a 6.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they didn't have a 5, 6, or 7 because they were so front-loaded in that draft.
If you look at all their drafts, they're all bad. They're all like, there's 2 good players, maybe.
And they also ended up getting Taylor Gabriel, Isaiah Crowell, Connor Shaw, and Willie Snead, and K'Wan Williams that were undrafted out of that. Crowell was pretty good for them. Taylor Gabriel was,
He was good for the Falcons. He was good for them,
right?
Not us.
Crowell was good for the Jets, too.
Yeah, Crowell was decent. That's why I said we shouldn't have taken West. Oh, I know. I can't sit in one location for too long.
Oh, between the back and the sick kid, I'm hurting tonight.
I know, dude. I know. What's he sick with?
Strep.
Oh, boy, that's bad.
He's been in school 3 days.
Sorry.
He's been in school 2
man,
weeks.
Why is Miles Straw trending right now?
Oh, this can't be good.
Listen, I watched the guards, the other day, and I've been watching more guards because I started betting more, and but I am. This makes baseball more interesting to me, and now I'm actually watching a lot of different. Like, did they ever score? Like, ever? And this is why I kind of stopped watching them. Is I'm like, it's unbearable offense they generate. And I'm like, how is this a near 500 team? Pitching's unreal. Good.
Bybee gives up a 3-run homer in the first inning and then allows 1 run basically the rest of his outing, and they lose.
Yep.
Jim, did you see Ohtani, what he did the other night? He pitched 7 scoreless, hit a grand slam. They turned a triple play in the 9th inning and lost.
Oh, out of there. Where's he going?
Boston.
I was going to say the Dodgers. We're gonna do a hot stove show where we're getting stupid. No, we're gonna do a hot stove show where we're gonna get stupid. I just hit 5 years of my show. We did half of ours last week as a little celebration of it. It was all baseball the first hour. We basically talked shit about our favorite teams the entire time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
Mike?
Jim?
I think it's time.
Is it time? Can I hit the button?
I have it if you're ready.
Ready? Set. Go.
You had one job to do.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yakety sax means one thing and one thing only. It is time for the Wisey Translator. Patrick, as a return guest in the Wisey Translator, I will explain this quickly so we can refresh your memory, but that is the time when James and I look at each other and say something, a name inside or outside of the sports world, and after the eternal sound of the 90s dial-up modem, we pull out the first thing that pops into our brain. Patrick, having been in here, I remember we gave him Pat Riley, and he said Pat Riley is the GOAT. Can't really argue with that. We've had everything from Brett Favre being compared to Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard to James calling Kyrie Irving in a sing-song voice a douche canoe. So
we've also had Victor Wembanyama getting blown over.
That was funny.
And I believe the last time Patrick was with us, I think Lauren Boebert was compared to a crack horn.
That's exactly what she was.
Or, no, she was compared to Casey Anthony. Mike, shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Michael, shut up. Michael, shut up.
I'm sorry.
Patrick, we will explain it the second we get off the air. We cannot share this. We will get banned off of every streaming platform we are on.
And I may have to go to confession. Oh, my God. Oh. Anyways, on to happier things. So we're going to pull names out. You know what, Jim? I say we put the guest in the hot seat first. What about you?
Yeah, that works.
So, Patrick, the first name in the Wisey Translator that I have for you, sir. And I'm going to give you one we gave someone else. I want to hear what you got to say.
Michael, please hold that thought for just one moment. I will go back and edit this, and you can re-edit that. Patrick, that's the joke in the chat. Please do not repeat it on air.
Oh, my God. Dude, no. Oh, my. Yeah.
11:34.
There's a foot-long joke in there somewhere. But... oh, my God.
I'm done. I can't even.
Oh, my.
I can't.
Tears. Oh, my God.
You know what that was, Patrick?
But so right.
Oh, my God.
Patrick, when he sent that to me on Instagram last night, I made it a point to call him and leave him a 15-second message saying, "Do not call me back. You're a fucking asshole." And that's all I said.
I listened. It's funny because my phone will transcribe the voicemail and then I'll listen to it. And I thought it was wrong. No, it was absolutely right. Yep. So, Patrick, your name in the Wisey Translator is, and I'm switching it up, okay. Ben Simmons.
Pussy. Did that dude fucking play already? I can't stand him, dude. Wow. What is the deal? How is he getting paid for all this bullshit? It's utter bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear mental health issues. It's like, I got mental health issues. You know what? I go to... and I don't want to hear this shit. I seriously, if you have mental health issues, you take like a day off, you take a week off or whatever, and then you straighten yourself out. You don't take years and years off and collect millions of dollars. And he's not even... why won't that guy shoot at the rim? He's 6'10". When he first came in the league, LeBron, and he was going toe-to-toe with him. And then it's like, oh, God, I don't... like, Trae Young's defending the basket. Whatever will I do? His dirt stash is just spooking me away from the rim. Ben bleeping Simmons. Give me a fucking break.
Bigger head case, Simmons or Harden?
Harden.
Harden, easily. And then, like, Kyrie, it's like Kyrie, probably. I don't know.
Mike?
Harden, but you know what? But Harden's
Brett
right,
Michaels.
though, about their own.
Brett Michaels.
Brett Michaels.
So I'm gonna say this about Patrick now, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. When you went on that little tirade, sir, do you know what I heard in my head? I heard Tony Rizzo.
Oh no, that's bad. But you know what? I don't do it. I don't do it to Cleveland people. I don't do it to Cleveland players.
Very true.
Yeah, that's different. Ben
Very
Simmons,
true.
though, does
The
bother
only
me.
thing missing was screaming Ben Simmons like he did Carlton Mitchell.
Yeah. Well, I already went off on one of those. That was Raul Neto. And we low minutes. We need Rolo. What the hell's Rolo gonna do? Walk around like he's got cinder blocks taped to his sneakers.
You're gonna make me.
Slowest guy I've ever
You're
seen.
gonna make me go to Sheets at midnight to get Rolos now. God damn it!
Oh,
Dude,
Scott,
you
there's
are
some
like the
polo.
worst.
I love Sheets.
First of all, I wish I had a Sheets, but I'm getting a Buc-ee's.
Oh, it's the Stadium Wawa. Back in Peter,
No.
we got Wawa.
No, we're getting a Buc-ee's, like literally 10 minutes from me.
No, nice.
Jim, I'm in the South. I need Buc-ee's.
It's only 11:40. I mean, it's not like.
Do
No,
you
it's
have a
not-
Zaxby's nearby?
I have 4 within a 10-mile radius.
We've got to go there because I've always wanted to try them. As many commercials as I've seen for them, watching like Lightning games and Thrasher games over the years.
You'd have to eat it there because it's all fried, and we got the gluten-free household.
Okay.
Oh no, that's happening.
Although-
How's that going?
It's been a while.
working?
It's well, my wife has celiac. It's not about the diet. It's about it legit has celiac. So had no choice. I've dropped a bunch of weight from not having it.
I was say, do you feel any better? Like,
You know what? I thought I wouldn't. I thought I'd miss a lot more things. Like we found a gluten-free pizza crust, which is very good. We found everything. Grocery bill's a little much, but yeah, and you would be surprised all the stuff you eat that's already gluten-free now. Like I eat cereal every morning because I keep it at my office because I'm there by 7:00 most days, and
Yeah.
I eat Chex, honey Chex.
oh, that's good.
Jim,
that's some good
just
stuff.
go to fucking Aldi's, Jim. What do you want me to
No,
tell you?
it's no.
Yeah,
You
he's-
say sex because
you're
my
probably
addiction
sex.
anymore. My addiction anymore is going to Aldi's and eating like half a box of corn checks for dinner one night.
No, guys, you don't even know.
it's-
I'm going to Dollar General and getting these they're like just these really color. He's got a big happy dinosaur. It's for kids, and like 28 grams of sugar in it, a bowl, and I just like eat.
By
like,
the way,
4 bowls.
The Dino Bites, which are Malto Meal's knockoff of the Fruity Pebbles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gluten free.
Yeah, see, wonderful for you. I love.
And I am more of a chocolate person, so I had the big bag of the cocoa ones.
I honestly feel like I'm drugs when I eat that cereal. Like I really do. Like I'm like trying to get like a dopamine release, you know, like, and it works. What's
Dude, what are you doing next Friday? Because we need to have you on for the football show.
What football show?
We're doing
Next
our college football preview show next week.
We're doing college and
Oh,
NFL
okay.
next Friday.
I think I'm free.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
time?
It's going to be at 9 on Friday night.
Yeah, I can probably do that. Yeah.
Because I'm as much as I love doing this, my wedding anniversary is next Saturday, and I don't need that smoke.
No, you don't.
Especially since Jim is coming down here. Jim is coming down here in October, and I'm afraid she'll kill him then.
Your wife
And then we'll-
loves me.
My wife adores you, and then you sent that thing on Instagram about what you'd teach my kid.
What
I haven't
was
heard
it?
from her since. How did she react?
Oh no.
Well, you got to understand, my wife's got a twisted sense of humor too. She's the absolute best.
Okay.
And well, it's tough for her to react, and I'll tell you why off air. I'm not gonna throw that out there on live YouTube. I mean, I will type something about it, but you just have to react to this too. And I'm gonna put the
Okay,
thing down.
she did respond about an hour before we went live, and she said, "Give it your best shot."
Well, listen, we're struggling with the kid saying words anyway because he's speech delayed. So even that, would be nice to hear. But, Jim, I want you to just react to what I'm typing on the chat we have here.
While you're doing that, Patrick, I'm going to show you what I sent him because it's first of all, it's funny.
Oh, no. No. Big stop laughing. It's not funny.
Notice the caption.
Yeah.
You're going to get kicked out of Facebook.
That's hysterical. Jim, did you see what I typed in a thing there for you?
Yes, I did. So basically, I sent Mike and his wife saying, "You've both been warned. Do not let me near Bobby unattended. Uncle Jim will teach him all kinds of new words like this to take to school."
He goes to a Christian school, James, and I pay a lot of money for that. Knock it off. So, Jim, I actually have a name for you in the Wisey Translator, if you don't mind taking the second one here, sir.
Okay.
And that name has already been brought up on the show once. Jim, your name in the Wisey Translator, and I will provide the dial-up, is Miles Straw.
Sit your sorry ass down on the bench. If you should not be picking up a bat, jabroni, if I'm channeling King of Juco.
Nice.
He hit a home run last week, and it set Twitter on fire.
King of Juco or Miles Straw?
Miles Straw.
Oh, okay.
They call
When is the last time he hit one? Before that?
like 700
Ever?
days.
I can't stand it.
It was his first home run.
He
Ever?
plays some- No, really.
His
I
glove.
believe it. And I get it. I get it, but still, I don't accept it. I don't accept it. You got to be able to
They would
kind of.
what they would call Hargrove the human rain delay. Miles Straw is the epitome of the human rally killer.
He just ruins baseball, man. When I just need my team to hit a home run. Did you hear that statistic about how the Tigers? What was it? They have 36 more home runs than we do in this month.
Yeah.
And it's the Tigers are not a home run hitting club. Is that this month or all year? I don't know. But regardless, they're not a home run hitting club, and we're not even close. Not even close.
They are 6-14 since I want to say the trade deadline, and they are only 2 games up on Detroit for third.
I don't mind. I enjoy watching the pitching staff. I do, but I just
Dude.
I need some scoring to watch baseball.
If you had that full staff at full health all year, this would be a different year.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Mets. Same thing with the Mets.
Yeah, but there's a caveat to that, though, and
Baseball
Patrick,
needs
you can agree with this, is that if that staff was fully healthy, you're not seeing Bybee, Williams, Allen, and who am I forgetting? But you're not seeing the 4 kids taking over as well as they have. I mean, Bybee's 9-3.
That's true.
Bybee's going to get run for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, what's his name?
Gavin Williams is an absolute beast.
Williams, that was it.
What a stud! He was throwing smoke.
Dude,
I
put him on my team on the show.
I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, no,
I
the
he
Guardians.
pitching all along. You know, I mean,
The
back
Guardians
when I loved watching in Sabathia and I don't know, it's just a number of guys. I mean, it's just we've had the pitching. It's just you need some offense. Just we need a home run hitter, and there's just no one to be.
Speaking of CC, did you see Verlander passed him?
What, in wins?
Yeah, Verlander passed CC in wins.
Wow. How many wins did CC have? 260?
It was 251, and Verlander won 252 the other day.
All right, yeah.
You were close.
He had a lot 'cause he started when he was 20, so he had a lot.
Same thing with Verlander.
20-win seasons, yeah.
And it all pains us to say it, but Verlander is always going to win any argument because of who he's married to.
Yes.
Wait. Oh,
Kate Upton.
Kate Upton. I know who that is. I can't picture her though.
The swimsuit. Just pull a swimsuit edition cover.
I look anything up, my connection goes to hell.
Hey Jim, do you have one for me?
Oh, Michael, I actually brought him up with you, I want to say off air. Michael, your first name on the Wisey Translator tonight for what he did earlier today? Jose Altuve.
Mighty Mouse. And or Speedy Gonzalez. But in the real thing, 2,000 hits with one franchise is huge. To be put in that name category with Bagwell and Biggio is massive if you're a Houston Astro. Unfortunately, he's tainted.
And you know why he's tainted? He was right there.
I know it was. We lost Patrick.
We'll get him back. Hopefully.
I'm sure.
Real
quick, though, I wanted to bring something to you baseball-wise. And I wanted to do it on the air. We talked about it off air. The Cardinals fan base is very, very loyal and very wonderful. They're soft as fuck, bro.
Was this about what you and I were talking about earlier?
Yeah, about Alonso last night. He made a bonehead move, and he admitted it. And they're still killing him.
Because he's a Met.
Yeah, they did call the 86 Mets pond scum.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Right, listen. I got one more for you, and I can't wait to hear this one. Your second entry is DTR.
Starting at quarterback for your Cleveland Browns in the 2021 season 2024 season opener, DTR.
Wow. Hey, we said year 3 was going to blow up on him.
I said it was going. Yep, this thing was going to blow up in their face.
That's so bad, though. That's so bad, though.
Why is there part of me that actually thinks that that's not completely out of the realm of possibility?
I think it's extremely in the realm of possibility, mostly because we haven't seen it. Jim, they're not playing him for a reason. And they're not going to debut him against Kansas City, who they're going to be trying to go up against to win an AFC championship. I don't get it. And apparently there were reports coming out that Philly was just confounding him in those practices.
Well, Patrick brought it up, and you guys talked about it earlier, that Philly's going back to the Super Bowl. I think this is more of an issue of they're going back by default because who in the NFC is going to get there? Detroit's not there yet. Minnesota's coming down. Dallas is overrated. The Giants stink. The Reds, I almost called them that name. The Commanders.
I'm sorry.
The Commanders stink. The entire NFC South is trash. Brock Purdy, the jury is still out on. Matthew Stafford's coming back after a full year injury, and then the other two teams. There's nobody else in the NFC that's legitimate. It's got to be.
You're absolutely right.
And the problem is, this is where the AFC is, I think, going to start going on a run of winning titles like the NFC did back when we were growing up.
No, you're absolutely right.
Where
I mean, of course,
the Skins and the Niners every year was one of those three.
we figure starting in 79, the day I was born, so you were born in 78. So that season, it was Pittsburgh, and then you went NFC. Well, no, because the Raiders won one in the 80s. But then you get to like 85, 86. You get the Giants. You get the Redskins. You get the Cowboys. You get the Giants. Giants win 2. Cowboys win 3. You get the Redskins win 1. The Redskins win 2, excuse me. They won with Doug Williams and Mark Rippon. And then you get to like the 85 Bears. You have the 49ers win however many in our lifetime. Well, Montana was 4-0. Steve Young won 1, so they've won 5.
Right. It was Elway's Broncos that broke that streak. We are going back to back.
That's right, because the Packers beat New England and then lost to Denver.
Yep, and then Denver went back to back against the Dirty Birds.
Dan Reeves had no rhythm.
Why Dan Reeves is not in the Hall of Fame is beyond me, though. He got to 5 Super Bowls, 4 with Denver and 1 with Atlanta.
Did he win any of them?
I don't think so, but still, you get to 5 Super Bowls. I mean, Marv Levy's in the Hall of Fame, and he lost 4 in a row.
I know, but here's the difference. Dan Reeves had an absolute aberration of a tenure in New York with the Giants. In between there, they were terrible, borderline horrible. Did he come back?
Patrick?
Or did we lose? Yeah, or did we lose? I think we lost him.
I think we lost him.
Well, before I do my last point on something I want to bring up next week, thank you to Patrick for coming on. The Cavs insight with him is always phenomenal. I know the frontline guys. He just brought up like the back 7 dudes in this episode. And yes, the clock says 2:18. We haven't been on that long because of the technical issues.
Yeah, and I think there may be. I might actually go in and trim that. I'm not sure. It depends on how much work it would actually take. Trim out the tech issues.
Yeah, and if not, people have fast forward buttons on their remotes.
Yep.
So James, let's do a little preview next week, and then what do you say we call it a night before it's Sunday?
Yeah, considering I still got to get the sheets. Thank you very much, Patrick. That was his parting gift.
Yeah, his parting gift was you having to go get Rolos.
Yep.
Jesus.
Chandler and Joey. Stupid Rolos.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
That's how they do pants. Anyway.
In prison?
Yeah, there are very few Ross lines I like. That might be one. That might be the only one. Or when he comes out with the leather pants, I have a problem. I do that all the time.
I used to do it daily, multiple times daily, when everyone was in-house in the office. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you can. Send a GIF. It's there.
Yeah, but the office chats don't allow me to post GIFs. The old one did. The new one doesn't.
Teams does, where we have at the office.
Typically with Teams, nobody turns their camera on. I'm about the only one who does because everyone's got like low-end Chromebooks, so if they were to put the video on for that, it jams everything up.
Yeah, no, ours... well, I get my new machine next week. I get a new computer and a laptop that that each office is getting. So Teams is going to be on a laptop.
Look at you swimming in your pool of gold coins, Scrooge McDuck.
I ain't buying it. But I want to ask you a serious question. And this is me being legit. So we just had Hall of Fame induction a couple weeks ago. Major League Baseball. 7 years post when I went for Piazza and Griffey, who, if you think about it, the top 5 players of when we were kids, there are 2 of them. Griffey arguably being number one. We had Canton, which was wonderful. Joe Thomas gets in. Mark McGuire was on Barstool and was asked, it was made on Barstool, it was AJ Brzezinski, whatever one he does. He asked if they were if they were being the bias against the steroid era guys who did do it. And yeah, they are being treated unfairly, in my opinion. When you don't suspend guys who cheated their way to a World Series, now you got to tell the writers to put them in. Put them in. Here's my question. Why are we not discussing that with Tom Brady? 4 Super Bowls. All of them came with league suspensions, league fines, and draft picks being forfeited because of cheating. Why is Brady getting a pass?
Because he's the golden boy and he's got more than anybody else in history.
You take those 4 away that are tainted, and right there,
he's still got 3, he's
still got 3,
which is more than Favre, more than Roethlisberger, more than Rodgers, more than Elway.
Not more than Montana, not more than Bradshaw.
But
the same amount as Troy Aikman,
guys, and that's the scary thing.
I understand that, but how come? Why does he get the pass?
It's not even just him, it's the whole franchise, because we're going to be doing the same thing when Belichick's name comes up, because he was at the forefront of a lot of that too.
Well, he was the one that wanted to tape the practices. Your Rams had 2 titles in the 90s, or 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been 2 in 3 years, right? Because they won the one, Tampa beat the Raiders, and then they lost to New England. Is that no?
Yes, you are correct, because that was actually the original basis for the book that I told you I was asked not to follow through and publish. My theory, when I was actually still wearing a tinfoil hat, whether you could actually say I was a bitter Rams fan, was that Super Bowl was fixed because it was right after 9/11. You had a team named the Patriots wearing red, white, and blue, all coming out as one. Remember, they changed the logo for the Super Bowl because that was right after 9/11. It was originally a Cajun-themed thing, and then they changed it to the American flag draped out over the United States of America. You had the Boston Pops Orchestra doing the national anthem. You had that was the first time a team all came out as one instead of individual player introductions. Nobody gave them a chance, and everyone wrote them off. And then they came out and shocked everybody. And then there was a lot of me that thought that the following year, when the Raiders won, when it was the Bucks that won, because remember, Gruden had left the Raiders and went to Tampa and won, and that was hush money for getting screwed out of the tuck rule game the year before.
I agree that there was something hinky going on, especially with the tuck game. Brady has admitted that he was a fumble since then, right? Speaking of admitting things, did you see what else I sent you?
Facebook or Instagram?
Threads.
Oh, I actually haven't pulled up my Threads account all day yet since the standalone app's there.
Unless it's a hoax, which it very well could be. Somebody sent out that Mason Rudolph admitted what he said that night.
Yeah, that's. But the first thing I actually did when I saw that is I went to research it on Google and a couple of other things, and I couldn't get confirmation.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's
Johnny Gargano, the WWE wrestler from Cleveland.
Yeah.
His birthday was earlier this week. His wife got him a whole bunch of comic books, and his wife is Candice LeRae, also WWE wrestler. The other thing that he just scored was an 89 Upper Deck Griffey Star Rookie Gem Mint 8.
The one with the gold chain.
Yes. And the fro underneath the hat.
Do we want to do 14 minutes on Wander Franco?
No, not tonight.
Notice the number I picked.
We've already opened so many cans of worms tonight. That one's going to be one that's just going to keep going.
Did you like the number I picked?
That's not what I want.
I will leave you with a thought of where I'm going to go with Mr. Franco.
Now, I don't see it on Threads because it's not in my mentions. The last thing you mentioned on me was the Oregon and Washington jumping to the Big Ten 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I'll find where I sent it from.
Might have been Insta.
Might have been. But just what I might, open with when we discuss Wander Franco. I got a stupid ad. Hang on a minute. I might play this, not this. Although that game is fun. That little mini golf game, that's actually kind of cool.
Now, usually I don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little previews of the remix. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but
I'm gonna have zero chill on that one.
Oh God, I just saw it. It's on. You sent it to me through Insta. Did you see the one that I sent you about the softball player?
Instagram?
The girl softball player dropping the pitch.
No.
Okay, I sent it.
Oh, on the foul ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that Menery?
I think so.
Yeah. Menery's great. So again, let's call it a night, dude. I'm tired. I mean, I got to be up for another hour at least, but
yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually getting hungry.
Steph made us slow cooked pork roast in the Buffalo Wild Wings garlic and sauce.
I almost did B-dubs instead of pulp tonight, but B-dubs, the one down the street in Lyndhurst, doesn't do online ordering.
Why the hell not? Oh, the original one on Mayfield Road by the Masonic
Police
Lodge?
station. Yeah.
That is where my father and I watched the Jets beat New England on a Thursday night. I was in my Chad Pennington jersey.
God, a few weeks from now, we're going to have Thursday night football as a distraction. Even that, how nice is that going to be? Well, it actually just means now that we're able to start bridging the gap between when baseball season ends, because neither one of our teams are going anywhere. So you get a couple of week transition because you're going to have a gap between the end of that and basketball season, because honestly, are we really even going to worry about or care about the baseball playoffs because we've got no vested interest, we've got no dogs in the fight?
I'll still care. I mean, it's still the World Series. It's still the World Series. It's, I'm going to care. There's a lot of storylines that could play out this year that are going to be interesting. I think that's when we'll do the second Big Rican show going into for the playoff push. But yeah, no, it's.
I need to give Willie another drop the mic moment like last year.
Shut up. So we will be back in 6 days. Actually, 5 now. It's Sunday. Friday night, the 25th of August, the first annual Wise Guys Football Palooza, where we preview not only the No Fun League, but we preview the better of the two, and that's college football. Probably going to be a little Big Ten heavy because if Mr. Rice is there, he's a Michigan fan. Of course, me being the Buckeye fan, trying to get Alex. He's not sure. He may be coming back from a trip, so he may not be home yet. And Jim providing his insight and hate of my team, as he always does, better than anyone I know. Who used to do that?
Barry Horowitz.
That's right. So, yeah, we will see you guys Friday night, 9 p.m. here on the Wise Guys channel to do the Football Palooza for Patrick McGuire, who, again, brings it every time he talks about the Cavs. And if you haven't read his stuff on Cleveland Sports Report, is it clevelandsportsreport.net now?
That's the old one. But I mean, he's still posting on that. But once we have the official new domain for him, he is going to be linked as kind of an affiliate directly to the Wise Guys show. We would like to have Patrick on a lot more. Actually, now that we got connected with him directly on Facebook earlier today, we'll be in contact with him on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, and I'd love to have him on, especially we're going to do an NBA preview. Obviously, he's first and foremost when it comes to the NBA with us.
Yeah, because sometime next month we've got our NBA and NHL previews.
We got to come up with a name for that.
Yep.
The Winter Sports Palooza?
Something with balls and pucks, and we'll figure something out. Completely inappropriate.
Of course it will be.
Well, I'll probably have a better name than Football Palooza for Friday.
I leave that in your capable hands, sir.
I'll bounce an idea off you. It'll be ready by the time I actually make the official show thing when I start vacation on Tuesday morning.
Oh, you suck.
I ain't going anywhere. I think I'm getting painted, so it's not like I can really go anywhere.
I prefer staycations, dude.
I'll just be playing a whole bunch of AEW and trying to squeeze every last drop of MK11 I can out before MK1 comes out. Go see a friend out.
I hear you.
And that's about it. Just a lot of sleep.
Exactly. I could use it myself, too. So, for JC Bluno, I am the Big Rican saying we will see you guys Friday night for the Football Palooza, or whatever the hell Jim comes up with, on our next episode of The Wise Guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.